Ozarks International Raceway, Barber Motorsports Park, Virginia International Raceway, the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Road America, and now the Circuit of the Americas, the schedule for the inaugural USF Juniors Championship presented by Cooper Tires. And now we find ourselves here in Austin, Texas at this fantastic facility that will later on this year hold an event in, of course, Formula One. But we are here, Championship Sunday. Welcome, folks, to Texas. My name is Rob Howden, the voice of the USF Juniors presented by Cooper Tires. It is time to find out who will walk away with a scholarship for USF 2000 worth over $220,000. Of course, Matt Clark for D-Force Racing out of Campbellville, Ontario, Canada, in the driver's seat right now. He really only needs to finish 15th or better, and he'll be able to score the championship. Young Sam Corey coming off a win in race number 2 and doing everything he can to potentially grab this title away from Matt Clark. Nonetheless, VRD Racing's had a tremendous year. Already 2 wins on the weekend. A victory from the beginning for Nikita Johnson, who will start on pole position today. Sam Corey winning race number 2 earlier here on Sunday. They've also have already locked out the team championship. But again, the money up for grabs. The guy that's going to win the championship is the guy who will be on top of the points and getting the results, all the points needed throughout the entire season. Not just about one race, not just about one weekend. It's about a full body of work to get yourself through to the end. And again, as I said, Matt Clark in a tremendous position right now, currently 27 points up on Sam Corey. Corey going to start on the outside of the front row. He'll do whatever he can to get the 32 points max he can get because he can't get the pole point. That belongs to his teammate, Nikita Johnson. We'll have a look at the grid momentarily. But again, gorgeous day here right now in Austin, Texas. Blue sky, a little bit of cloud around. It is significantly warm, no doubt about that. 92 degrees right now here trackside. And the humidity dropping down, thankfully. It was 95% this morning. 49% humidity right now. Feels about 99 degrees, but look at that beautiful skyline. What a tremendous racetrack here. And as I said, F1 will be here later this year. But it's all about USF Juniors right now. And again, Cooper Tires, the sponsor of the event, the Cooper Tires Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix finale. The tower on the inside of the Circuit of the Americas, of course, the iconic image from this racetrack, as is the run-up to turn number 1, the big, huge climb up the hill into turn number 1. Engines firing down on pit lane. Let's have a look at the grid as we get set to go. A 15-lap race, 40-minute the time limit, and indeed 19 drivers ready to roll off. Quinn Armstrong, after an issue early, will start 19th, the Australian in the number 16 for D-Force Racing. Watch for him to move his way forward. He's been good here throughout the weekend. Row number 9 will have Lucas Facuri, the Brazilian, on the outside for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport in the number 28. Inside of that row, Meta Caceres in the number 21. Out of Uruguay, she runs for International Motorsports. And again, number 21 starting in 17th. Row 8 on the outside as the field starts to pull its way off the pit lane. Maddie Oust in the number 37 for Crosslink Kiwi starting in the 16th position in the number 37. And Bailey Cruz, the Kiwi, in the number 44. First weekend here, looking forward to running USF Juniors in 2023. Great to have Bailey here in the number 44 machine running with Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. Moving now to row number 7 on the outside, Giorgio Carrera in the number 32 out of Argentina in that machine. Carrera for International Motorsports alongside Maxwell Jamison in the number 18. Jamison, another one of the Texans here this weekend out of Houston for D-Force Racing. He'll start in the 13th spot. Row number 6 on the outside, the number 19, another Texan out of San Antonio. It is Jake Bonilla. He's had some good speed throughout the weekend. He is going to be starting 12th alongside Ethan Barker in the number 12. A couple of great runs recently for Ethan. Ends up finishing 6th in the opening race, 7th rather, in the opening race today. Again, Barker in the number 12 starting 11th. Up into the top 10 now. Row number 5 on the outside will be the 31 of Titus Sherlock out of Prosper, Texas. A number of Lone Star State drivers calling this event home. Inside of that row to Florida, Jeremy Fairburn in the number 82. Both those drivers running for Crosslink Kiwi. Up to row number 4, Andre Castro for International Motorsports, currently 5th spot in the points. Pretty much has that locked down, but it could potentially battle out with Fairburn before it's all said and done. Castro in the number 23 starting 8th. And on the inside, it'll be Ethan Ho in the DC Autosport, number 71. Row number 3 on the outside, Alessandro D'Ortulio, 4th place in points coming in here. Could still fight for 3rd, but the Floridian in the number 20 for VRD Racing starting 6th, alongside Matt Clark, the driver who will run for the championship here today, scheduled to start P5. Another driver coming late up to the grid here, being told. I think that's DeTulio. He had that wreck in the initial race. They're able to get him back repaired and onto the racetrack. So DeTulio, he may be able to catch back up, but I think he may end up having to start at the tail of the field. Matt Clark in the number 17, as I said, starting in the 5th position. Row 2 will have Bryson Morris, who was on the podium in race number 2. Morris out of Nashville, Tennessee for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport in the number 39, starting 4th. Inside his teammate Ryan Sheehan out of Austin, Texas. Hometown boy here, the number 66, starting in 3rd. 19 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row, off pole. Currently sitting 2nd spot in the points, it is Sam Corey out of Cornelius, North Carolina for VRD Racing. An outside shot at winning this championship. A lot of stuff has to come his way, and to be honest, he needs to essentially win the race with fast lap and most laps led. He needs 32 points because the driver alongside him has already grabbed the pole position bonus. That's Nikita Johnson in the number 7 out of Gulfport, Florida for VRD Racing. A couple of wins on the season already for Nikita Johnson. One at Road America and one here. So good second half of the season for Nikita Johnson. He'll start pole. It'll be Johnson and Corey on row 1, Sheehan and Morris on row 2, Clark and DeTulio row 3, Ho and Castro row 4, Fairburn and Sherlock on row number 5. Being told, though, that I believe Matt Clark, I think, falling to the tail of the field here right now. So DeTulio and Matt Clark will be at the tail. Clark, I would expect, trying to stay out of trouble. He will find himself now at the tail of the field, trying to work his way back up to what I said. Essentially, if he can get himself into 15th position, 15th, 14th, he'll lock down this championship. Field lining up for the final time here in 2022 to cap off the inaugural USF Juniors Championship presented by Cooper Tires. 2x2, 19 talented racers here at a tremendous racetrack, the Circuit of the Americas, and we are green, green, green. The big run up to turn number 1. Down to the bottom goes Johnson to defend. The outside is Sam Corey. Can they get through cleanly? We'll keep an eye, of course, on Matt Clark at the back. He's just going to try to slow up and get through here cleanly. DeTulio pushing hard to get close. And again, Clark just not wanting to get involved in any kind of incident out front. Your leaders now working their way through the S's. We'll go to the tower cam for this one. This is through turns 4, 5, and 6. Ideally, everyone will be able to get through cleanly here and get things underway. A 15-lapper with a 40-minute time window. The last race of this 2022 inaugural USF Junior season. DeTulio got himself back onto the racetrack, but well behind, so just coming across the line now. So we'll see how things shake down over 15 laps. Johnson trying to see if he can't cap this season in style. No chance for him to win the title, but most definitely an opportunity to get another victory here. Johnson leads out of turn number 11. First time down that long straight, and a pretty good gap right now between he and Sam Corey. And I want to say that's either Bryson Morris or Ryan Sheehan who have slotted into P3. We'll kind of pick up where Matt Clark is for him. He'll just take his time, pick them off one at a time. He wants to let the incident happen on the opening circuit and then go to work. He has been one of the fastest drivers all weekend long. Friday test days, Matt Clark topped all 3 of them, was the quickest on practice on Saturday morning as well. So he knows he's got the speed, just got to settle in here and work his way potentially into maybe a top 10 result. Anything above 15th, and it will very likely be a championship again for Matt Clark. And again, one thing to add, right now, Nikita Johnson's out there running in the lead. If he gets 8 laps led of the 15, that's going to pull a bonus point away from Sam Corey, and it'll be even 1 spot better for Matt Clark. So right now with Nikita Johnson out front looking for a strong run, everything playing in the way to Matt Clark at this point. Drivers coming through turn number 19 for the first time. A little side-by-side action coming through there. We'll give you a full field rundown as they come through. Not using track limits is not surprising to see. We are calling track limits at turn 19, but only in the race if someone has made up significant amount of time. We'll get them as they come across here momentarily as we have drivers working their way up into turn number 1. That's Fairburn making a good move to the inside of Andre Castro. So Fairburn now up into the 6th spot. Here's your top order right now. Nikita Johnson leading the way right now. Sam Corey runs 2nd. Ryan Sheehan, Ethan Ho, and Bryson Morris, the first lap top 5. Jeremy Fairburn 6th. Andre Castro in 7th spot. 8th is Titus Sherlock. 9th, Giorgio Carrera. 10th, Maxwell Jamison. Ethan Barker, 11th after the opening lap. Quinn Armstrong from dead last up into 12th. Jake Bonilla in 13th, Lucas Facuri 14th, Bailey Cruz in 15th, 16th is Matt Clark, 17th Mate Caceres, and 18th Madison Oust. Good battle here for second spot. That is Ryan Sheehan. Remember, he was scrapping it out for a position on the podium in race number 2. The hometown driver trying to get a good result here. He's not going to stick with Sam Corey. He's going to try to go around Sam here down into turn number 12. It was Ryan Sheehan who had the contact with Alessandro Di Tullio on the final corner of the final lap of race number 2 to put Di Tullio on his head and off the racetrack. Tullio, of course, able to climb out of that car, and kudos to the VRD racing crew for getting that thing put back together, the damage all repaired so he could get back on the racetrack to cap things off here. Tullio still with an outside shot at taking the third place in the championship away from Nikita Johnson, but not happening right now. Of course, as we know, Tullio late to the grid, late to the racetrack, and Nikita on the other end of the spectrum finds himself P1, a full second out. Tullio just set fast lap of the race all by himself on the track. After the first lap, Matt Clark was up into the 16th position. Good scrap behind the front-running groups. Look at this guy. These guys battling up further back. That's a 23 right there as well of Andre Castro. Titus Sherlock all there. Sherlock, I believe, by. I believe that's Sherlock likely by for P7 or P8. So Sherlock, I think, up to 7th. Nikita Johnson trying to put a little exclamation point on the end of the season here. We're going to see him in USF 2000 next year. He's a talented young driver out of Florida. There's the 18 of Maxwell Jameson battling it out with Carrera and Sherlock as well. Being told we may have a driver who has stopped on the back straightaway. That might be Ethan Barker. Don't know whether or not we're going to go full course yellow at this point, but there's a potential for a driver stopped on the back straightaway right now. We'll try to keep you updated on that. We'll see that, of course, when they come back through. Spotter's telling us he may have got that car refired, but no, full course yellow, we believe, could be coming out. And indeed, as a quick look over to start finish, full course yellow on the racetrack. A driver is stopped on the back straightaway, potentially refiring. Don't know whether or not he's been able to get himself out of harm's way, but Ethan Barker, I think we're being told, stopping on the back chute. This is huge for Alessandro Di Tullio in terms of getting himself back in a place he can fight for at least a position further up the order. Yeah, there is Barker off to the right side of the racetrack. Tough way to finish for Ethan Barker, who had a really good run in race number 2. Safety crew will get out to him and get him, probably, I would assume, if he was able to move, flat toe that thing back into at least a safe part off the racetrack. 2 laps in, 13 laps to go, very early in the run. Nikita Johnson, the leader. Sheehan up to 2nd. Corey runs in 3rd. Ho 4th. Morris 5th. Castro, Fairburn, Sherlock, Carrera, and Maxwell Jameson rounding out the top 10. Matt Clark up into 14th. So Matt Clark electing to start at the tail of the field to avoid any potential opening lap carnage. Not the worst strategy from the guys from D-Force Racing. You never know what could happen on the opening circuit. Of course, we've seen some argy-bargy here in both the races here at COTA. Clark's going to have Lucas Facuri and Jake Bonilla in front of him, and Bailey Cruz and Mate Caceres behind him. Di Tullio is going to be on the attack very quickly to try to work his way forward. Johnson turning the fast lap of 2:18.072 on the last circuit by. Still full course yellow. The pace car will pick them up out of turn, or into turn number 1 rather. An iconic part of this racetrack, that shot from the top of the hill on down. And Johnson had pulled out to a pretty nice little advantage. He'll be sad to see that thing shrink up. He's got a great race car here today. It's really been a pretty solid second half of the season. Because to be honest, it was a strong run for Nikita Johnson in race number 1. He ended up getting a 30-second penalty, I believe, for contact on the racetrack. That dropped him down to 7th. Otherwise, he would have been on a run of 7 straight podiums. And he was on the podium as well. So call it 8 straight podiums, to be honest, to finish off the season. But with that penalty, of course, dropping him down. but crossing the line in the top 3 of the last 8 races, now tries to do it again here. This kid has got a lot of momentum going into the offseason. He's done some testing overseas, got a chance to drive a GB3 car as well over at Angsley and a couple of the tracks. Got more testing lined up in the offseason. Not only will he be testing a USF 2000, but other cars overseas to give him a little bit more of a diverse spectrum of testing experience. So this kid's lining up to be definitely one to watch next year in USF 2000. Matt Clark, we've talked about his run as well. Started the season with 4 straight victories. Some issues at VIR, especially in race number 2, but came back with a run of 3 second-place finishes at the end of VIR in the first 2 races at Mid-Ohio. Backed that up with a victory in race 3 on the Mid-Ohio tripleheader. 15th in the opening round at Road America after an issue with the car, and then 3rd and 4th in the subsequent races. 2nd and 3rd, the 2 races here at COTA. Man, I expected them to flat-toe the car. Looks like they may have actually lifted the car of Ethan Barker right off the racetrack. You wonder what that could have been if there was suspension damage, but nonetheless, they've got this thing up on the wrecker, up on the hook, so that should allow them to, once they secure it, get us back to green flag racing. Ryan Sheehan, we saw him early attacking on Sam Corey, was not waiting at all. Again, as I said, Alessandro DiTullio kind of getting a new lease on life, and at least in terms of being able to put down, put in a good race. Otherwise, he may have, had we gone green to checker, he likely would have been driving around for 15 laps by himself on this racetrack. 3.41 miles, 20 corners in this challenging track. Instead, he finds himself right back at the tail of the field behind Madison Oust and Nathan Casares. Maxwell Jamison, who was battling up there in 10th position, he's fallen down into the 15th spot. So I wonder whether or not Jamison, potentially he and Barker might have got together. I don't know. The fact that Barker's out and not able to get flat-toed, you wonder whether or not there was potential damage from contact. But, of course, that's just me extrapolating. So little guess, but otherwise Maxwell falling back into 15th. Jamison's had a strong weekend here, his best, learning throughout the entire season. Pace car lights still on, so obviously not going green this time by. They'll put lap number 4 in the books. I think we'll likely go green next time by, as we saw that the safety crew, I believe, having the car of Barker lifted up and ready to go. It's a long lap around here when you are cruising at pace car speed, 3.41 miles, as I had said. Nikita Johnson will look to get the jump, but I'll tell you, this is not an easy place to hold the lead on a restart, as we've seen in the subsequent races. It's tough. You roll your way out of turn number 20, and it's that long run, big, huge draft. And even though it's an uphill braking zone, which of course shortens the braking because you're using that uphill run, there's so many different angles that drivers can take. They dive down the bottom, the over-under, and because we're not doing any kind of issues in terms of track limits, you'll see drivers go way out the right side of the racetrack, over the rumble to the outside and come back on, trying to maintain as much speed possible. Johnson seems very focused. Talked to him on the way back from the podium, being alerted about his penalty. He was pretty happy with the way things went, and excited that he had the fast lap of the race from race number 1, walking down with his pole check from race number 2. And again, when you aren't able to grab the championship that you were focused on from the start of the year, you finish the season in a strong run. That's big. Obviously, Johnson winning race number 1 yesterday, another win here, bookending the weekend would be really big for the Florida driver, allowing him to leave the season with a ton of confidence, ton of momentum. And I'll tell you this right now, you think, hey, you know what, these drivers can take a deep breath. We're into the off season now. No, teams are already testing next week. I believe there's a test at Road America in less than a week and a half, maybe a week. There's a ton of testing going on between now and obviously the start of the new season. A lot of great stuff going on. We have, of course, the Academy Series, the Winter Series that the number of our teams run in as well. A lot of great stuff. Lights out on the pace car, as you can see, so we are about to go back to racing. What will happen here on the opening circuit? We'll keep an eye on Nikita Johnson, Ryan Sheehan, and Sam Corey. How does Matt Clark dial things in here? He's currently 12th on the grid. 12th position for Matt Clark. This helps him work his way up the order for sure. Drivers ready to get back at it. And again, we talk a lot about mindset throughout the weekend, or throughout the year, depending on what you've done, how your weekend's gone. You know, if you got a race win, maybe you can settle back a bit. Well, this is the last race of the season. You won't see these Ligier cars in the USF Juniors program into the future, as we have our brand new Tatis JR23 with the Halo, the only car running in this country with that Halo in 2023 for this level of competition, for this age. So the level of safety increased by the Road to Indy. Dialed in. On the throttle, we are going racing, right back at it. Good punch off for Nikita, but right there's Ryan Sheehan. The Austin native would like to lead here, and he's going to be right in there. Look at all the way to the bottom. Johnson's not giving it up. Watch for Corey to come around the outside. Corey trying to take them both out there. Not a lot of grip to the outside of the racetrack, side by side, and Corey's gone to the lead. Sam Corey to the lead in the number 14 machine. Again, he needs to lead all the laps or the most laps, win the race, and get fast lap. That's the best he could do to try to put any kind of challenge onto Matt Clark. Corey's gone to the lead. The first 5 laps going to Nikita Johnson. So that's crucial for Nikita. He's got 5. If he gets 3 more laps led, that's going to be a point away from Corey, and here comes Nikita back down the inside through turn number 9 and 10. Oh, they're dicing it up. Ryan Sheehan right there as well. Tremendous racing here for the drivers in USF Juniors. All the cars here, of course, with Cooper tires. Give a shout out to Eric Oseth from Quicksilver Racing Engines, who's been with us throughout the year as our engine tech. Of course, all these drivers running the Honda power plant, the HPD power plant, and these Ligers. So it's been great having Eric Oseth here with us. Legendary name in SCCA racing. Of course, his dad, Steve, a multi-time FV SCCA runoff champion. Look at this scrap back and forth. Corey's gone to the lead, but Johnson thinking a little bit of it. Stacking him up behind. Ethan Ho going side by side there as well. Ho battling it out. I want to say that is Andre Castro, I think he's going at it with. Ho and Castro scrapping it out for 4th or 5th. That's for 5th now. Castro, I think, is through. Ho goes back to 6th. He's had a really good second half of the season. Finding more speed in that DC Autosport machine. Tulio getting aggressive coming forward as well. We'll put lap number 6 in the books. Corey's going to lead his first one. He needs the rest of them pretty much. It's like Matt Clark making a move by one of the International Motorsports cars a bit further back. Here comes Nikita back to the inside. Look at this side-by-side action. They're going to give each other room coming back down the hill. They do. This time Nikita with the outside line. Look at these two VRD drivers side by side. Right now, Ryan Sheehan just watching it all happen. Johnson goes back to P1. Sheehan thinks about the inside. Bryson Morris right there as well. The two crosslink Kiwi drivers right behind the VRD duo of Corey and Johnson. Johnson now P1. Matt Clark up into the top 10 after that restart. P10 for Clark as he was able to get by Giorgio Carrera. So move him up to 9th actually now. Clark tiptoeing his way forward. Oh, big move to the bottom of the racetrack for Morris over at turn number 11. Book it. He'll get to the inside of Ryan Sheehan. Ethan Ho right there now. He's been able to get back around Andre Castro. So Ethan Ho having a great run. Big block move down the inside. That's, I think, Sheehan blocking to the Ho to the inside, all the way down the bottom of the racetrack. That doesn't always work. Yeah, he's down the bottom. Ho's going to try to outbreak him and see if he can't get the run around the outside of turn number 12. He does, and by doing that, it's going to give him the inside line for the 13-14 combination. Yeah, there he is at the inside, little check up there. And that's going to bring Jeremy Fairburn in as well. Fairburn's had a really strong weekend, starting outside the top 10 in all the races. He has fought his way up. So Jeremy Fairburn, although not the best start of any of these races, has scrapped his way forward. I talked about Ethan Ho as well and what he's been able to do kind of in the second half of the season here. Sporadically getting some good results. In the last couple of races, 4 top 10 results for him. Best finish of 5th at Road America. Didn't have the results you want to hear at COTA, but the speed is there. Oh, DeTulio way off the racetrack there, coming through turn number 19. Corey, Johnson, Sheehan. Corey back to P1. No, it's actually Johnson. Nikita Johnson back to P1. That takes another lap away. Got to be watching out for it. Matt Clark sliding there into 8th. This is the battle between Ethan Ho in the 71 and the 66, Orion Sheehan. That is for, I want to say, 4th now. I think Sheehan was able to get by Ho to go to P4, so Ho into 5th spot. 6 is Fairburn, 7th Castro, 8th now Clark, 9th Titus Sherlock, and 10th is Quinn Armstrong. Remember, Quinn Armstrong started at the tail of the field. I want to say probably 17th after Clark dropped to the back and DeTulio wasn't able to make it. So 17th up to 10th for Quinn Armstrong. Wow. Great run for the Aussie. Sheehan in the 66. Down into 11. There's Ho right there in the DC Autosport machine. Ethan Ho coming off a strong debut in USF 2000 at Portland as well. Pushed himself up into the top 10. Really impressive result for Ethan. Southern California Carter at Los Angeles in the Mega Automotive machine. Coming to the halfway point right now, and again, Nikita Johnson up front with a fast lap of the race. I want to say only 1 lap led potentially here for Sam Corey. That's a point that could potentially be slipping away. And if we go even up, the best Sam Corey could do would be 374. Yeah, so as they run on the racetrack, Matt Clark, provisionally your champion. And as they run right now, 1 driver off is Ethan Barker. So the worst that Matt Clark could finish would be 374. So unless he gets a bonus point, a fast lap, Sam Corey's got to win this race. And right now, Nikita Johnson pulling away. We'll see what the gap is this time by. Nikita having a good run here. Sam Corey has really laid it down throughout this season, though. What a tremendous and impressive run this kid's had. I'm just looking here at the results real quick. Yeah, I want to say that I think in the top 5, top 5, only 2 drivers with only 1 finish outside the top 10. Yeah, and that's Corey and Johnson. A 12th place in VIR for Corey, a 13th for Johnson. Otherwise, everything in the top 10. So many trips to the podium. Consistency for the VRD drivers. That's what put them 2nd and 3rd in the championship standings. Nikita Johnson not close enough to be able to take away 2nd, I think, from Sam Corey. There's Sam there. There's Bryson Morris. That's 2nd and 3rd. 8 laps down. Johnson out front. Long run down the back straightaway here at the Circuit of the Americas. You can see that lead. Bryson Morris holding on to the 3rd spot. So right now, provisionally, Johnson, Corey, and Morris on the podium. Exactly what we saw in the last race. Ryan Sheehan, and Ethan Ho battling it out. This is the strong fight for second. Oh, a big move there to the inside of turn number 13 and 14 for Bryson Morris to take over second. Lucas Oil School of Racing Formula Car Series champion in 2021. Great to have him making his USF Juniors debut here this weekend. The finale with Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. Up into second. Corey goes back to third. Fourth now Sheehan. Fifth is Ho. Sixth Clark. Seventh Fairburn. Eighth Castro. Ninth Quinn Armstrong. 10th Titus Sherlock. Past the halfway point. Nine laps in the book, 6 to go in the 2022 season. Bryson Morris giving himself some breathing room here on Sam Corey. Wonder if he's got anything to potentially chase down Nikita Johnson here. The lead 2.2 seconds, 6 laps to go. Is that car going to come alive for him? Matt Clark up into 6th. A strategic call by D-Force Racing to start him at the tail of the field, knowing the pace that they've had. And he has worked it nicely, has been able to chip away, getting himself closer and closer to the front. Again, just the concept, just to get the position that he needs to get those points. Right now, as they run on the racetrack, 6th position would give Matt Clark 386 points. Sam Corey running 3rd, 366 points. A 20-point advantage for Matt Clark as he looks to cap off this championships. Lock and load on the target that he laid out at the start of the season with D-Force Racing. So we'll very likely see him in USF 2000 with that Texas-based operation. D-Force blue and white next year for Matt Clark. Keep a look at the lap times here between Johnson and Morris to see whether or not Morris can reel him in at all. Oh, being told full course yellow. What is happening? Yeah, pace car rolling up. Not sure what's going on the racetrack yet. I'll try to give you an update when I can see, but being told full course yellow. There's a driver off the racetrack right there. It looks like that may be Matty Oust, and there's contact. A couple of drivers got together. So 2 drivers together. That may be the 44 of Bailey Cruz. So yellow flag comes out. 10th lap goes in the books. 5 laps remaining. And this is going to give Sam Corey another shot at Morris, and Morris another shot at Johnson. So contact with a couple of drivers a bit further back in the pack. They'll review this, of course, after the race, but the incident between Matty Oust and Bailey Cruz, the 2 Crosslink Kiwi drivers getting together on track. And I want to say, unofficially, Matt Clark probably has this thing locked right now. Even if he weren't to finish, the lowest he's going to finish will be 16th. That's 376 points. If Sam Corey were to win, that'd be 374. He would need both bonus points to lock down the championship. He's not going to get them because Nikita Johnson's led the most laps. Ryan Sheehan actually with the fast lap of the race. So this is all going the way of Matt Clark right now. Here's the contact you see as they're coming through the S's. One driver to the right, one to the left. One's buried. So we'll see what race control elects to do here. Still about 13 minutes remaining on time. It'll be lap 11 when they get back around. 4 laps to go when they come back to the stripe. Johnson the leader, Morris second, Corey third, Ryan Sheehan in fourth. 5th, Ethan Ho. 6th, Matt Clark. 7th, Quinn Armstrong. What a great run for Quinn Armstrong. Jeremy Fairburn into 8th. Andre Castro 9th and Titus Sherlock in 10th. Race control has a chance to review the incident between Aust and Cruz, and no action will be taken on that. So circulating around the track right now for Nikita Johnson. He has now led the most laps, so there'll be a bonus point for Nikita as well. No opportunity for Nikita to get up to where Corey is in terms of points. Now, winning the race with fast lap and most laps would be 3:51. Corey would have to finish back in 15th. So I guess there's still a long shot of it, but I can't see it happening with Sam running where he is right now, P3 on the racetrack. All the mathematical calculations to cap things off. There is a potential champion right there. Number 17 of Matt Clark out of Canada. D-Force Racing in the Valkyrie sponsor machine. Cruz going to work trying to see if they can't get these cars back underway, or at least off the racetrack, pardon me. Bryson Morris got by Sam Corey and decided to try to reel in Nikita Johnson. Was actually a 10th quicker on that last lap. One of the cars rolling away nicely. I believe that may have been oh, that was Matty Aust. Okay, being told Matty potentially able to roll there. I didn't try to pick the color line up on that car. They'll put lap number 11 to the books now. You can see these drivers anxious to get back at one more lap. Give us a couple more. Nobody wants to end here under yellow. They would potentially go, if we go back to green this time by, it would be 3 laps, a 3-lap dash to cap off the 2022 season. 16 drivers remain on track. We've lost Matty Aust, Bailey Cruz, and Ethan Barker. Barker, of course, having that mechanical on the opening circuit after actually the second lap, I believe it was. Or the opening circuit, he came to a stop. We got 1 lap in the books. Let's cruise around here with the champion-elect Matt Clark in number 17. Unofficially champion of the 2022 USF Juniors program. Even if he were to fall to 16th right now with Nikita, with Sam Corey running 3rd, and the bonus lap already going to Nikita. There's Bailey Cruz and the number 44. He'll roll him back as well. So that's awesome. No damage on either of those cars. Able to roll back. Good to see that. Circuit of the Americas track crew getting them taken care of. I think we may be able to go green flag racing this time by once again. Let's hope for that. That would give us 3 laps of racing to cap off the day. Been told maybe a little bit of damage on Matty Aust's car, but again, she was able to roll at least into somewhere safe, which is good. But here we go. If we do go back to green, this is it. This is Nikita Johnson versus Bryson Morris, Sam Corey, Ryan Sheehan, and Ethan Ho. Matt Clark, I don't think he's going to insert himself into the fight. I think he'd be more than happy to cruise it through at the end here. Again, think about Matt Clark. Yep, lights out of the pace car. I love it. Lights go out. We're going racing. 3-lap dash. Remember, Matt Clark had a taste of USF 2000 at Portland, and he was the driver that stayed out of the chaos that was all part of the championship fight. Stayed out of that chaos and was able to get a race win. A huge victory for Mac in the USF 2000. That's where he'll be next year with the scholarship here from Cooper Tires and Anderson Promotions worth over $221,000. We'll take the opportunity to celebrate our top 3 in the championship. Matt Clark, Sam Corey, Nikita Johnson tonight at the championship celebration, which takes place just across the front straightaway in the Velocity Lounge at 6:30 this evening. Look forward to seeing as many from the paddock as we possibly can come out there to enjoy a great night. Nikita Johnson wants to finish the season in style, but he's going to have to hold off a determined Bryson Morris. Bryson was not pleased, not able to get that victory in race number 2 because he led a number of laps. Ended up falling back to P3 with a Sam Corey victory and Nikita Johnson second. Of course, as we said, Nikita with a penalty dropping back. Clark moving up to 3rd from P4. So Sam Corey got some redemption in race number 2 after the mistake he made in race number 1. Nikita Johnson, winner of race number 1, would like some redemption from the penalty of race number 2. But we don't know. 3 laps to decide it all. Final 3 laps of the 2022 USF Juniors presented by Cooper Tires Championship season. And hold your breath. They're going to fire it all up one more time. Everybody get ready to punch off. Get on the throttle. Out of turn number 20. They'll roll into the loud pedal, and away we go. Back at it with the green flag flying at start-finish. Here comes the move for Sam Corey. He's going to go to the inside. Big run further back as well. Corey going to try the bottom. Watch for Morris to go way wide. Use all the racetrack on the outside unless Corey can get it done. He's to the bottom of the racetrack. Look for Morris to go all outside. He'll hold the inside coming down in. It depends on what kind of a run Corey can get. They're side by side through the corner. They'll work their way out. Corey's on the inside. Advantageous to the left-hander. He'll take the spot. Move Corey to P2. Out front with the action behind him, Nikita Johnson, the leader. The Floridian looking for yet another win on the season. It took him all the way to Road America to get the first one, but if he wins this, it'll be 3 of the last 5 for Johnson. Matt Clark clean, able to hold on to the spot. I think he actually got by Ethan Ho, so I think Matt Clark up to P5. Clark in 5th. How much more is there for Matt Clark? Does he know that he can push? Are they telling him that 16th gives him the win still? Who's got fast lap? Ryan Sheehan still with fast lap. That's the bonus point. Matt Clark watching in front of him. The 2. Oh, wow, look at these 2 crosslink Kiwi drivers. Big run down to the inside. Morris trying to hold off Ryan Sheehan. We know Sheehan trying to impress here at his home track. The Austin Texan driver. Oh, Clark's going to get them both. Clark to the inside. Book it. Does he hold on to both spots? Clark got by both potentially. They'll work their way through. Wow. I think he gets the job done. Matt Clark, though, big wide on the exit. He'll have to cut back in. Got to give enough room. He's got Sheehan on the outside. Ethan Ho coming into play. Over to turn number 15. Clark using all of the racetrack. Ho trying the inside as well. Matt Clark says, yeah, here comes the exclamation point on my season. He wants to be on the podium to celebrate the championship. There's your leaders out front. Johnson and then Corey. Matt Clark letting her rip. Outside, a lot of these drivers using a lot of the outside here of turn number 19. Here comes the run again. Watch here for Sheehan. See if he can't get a run. Further back, they're snaking there as well outside the top 8. Make that 8th on back. Top 7 have pulled away a little bit. Johnson, the leader. The gap between first and second when they came across the line, about 0.8 of a second. You got to think that D-Force has given Matt Clark the green light, knowing that he could finish 16th and still win this championship with the points. And, of course, fast lap not going to Sam Corey. He can win. He can go after this. It's essentially green light. See if he can't go win this thing. Matt Clark goes to P3. Is it checkers or wreckers for Matt Clark trying to work his way to the top of the podium? I don't know. Nikita Johnson's been so good here today. Johnson trying to stretch away to get that victory that he needs. This is in the outside. The 66 Ryan Sheehan trying to get back around Matt Clark. Matt's going to have a ton of challenge. Here comes Ethan Ho as well in the 71. Clark into the lead. I'd want to roll up into the trailer if I were him, but, man, he's trying to see if he can't go. I don't know that he's going to be able to catch up to the lead group, so he could be smart and bring it home here. He's going to block down to the bottom of the racetrack. Watch for Sheehan and Ho to try to get aggressive. Look to the right side of the screen. How deep are they going to be in the inside? Clark's going to hold the spot. Ho's going to look to the inside of Sheehan. Ethan Ho alongside Sheehan. Does he get the spot? Through the little dark part of the track where we missed them. Ho around the outside. Bit of contact there with Sheehan. He's going to get eaten up by both Castro and Morris. Little contact there. So Morris slops back. Good opportunity for Andre Castro to go to P5 in the International Motorsports Machine. Castro 5th in the points, running P5 on the racetrack. The Nikita Johnson out front. White flag will fly this time by. Ethan Ho trying to put himself on the podium, although this fourth place run would be his best race result of the year. For Ethan Ho, best result of 5th at Road America. P4 would be a great way to finish off the season. Ho trying to get a run on Matt Clark. White flag flying for Nikita Johnson. This is the final circuit of the 2022 inaugural USF Junior season. Matt Clark where he needs to be to win this championship. Look at the fight further back as well. Morris trying to get to the inside of Castro. There's Clark, your championship leader. He's got some room, little breathing room right now, ahead of Ethan Ho. And Ethan's fallen back a bit there. Clark's got lots of gap. Ho has a lot of room behind him as well. I'd love to see him bring it home here, P4. It's been a strong ascension in terms of experience and pace for Ethan Ho throughout this 6-event championship, 16 races in total. And Ethan with DC Autosport and Don Connor have really started to pick things up. Didn't have the best start to the season for Ethan Ho, but man, he has really dialed it in. Matt Clark, less than 3 miles away from a paycheck, $221,000 to go USF 2000 racing in 2023. Sure his parents, Stu and Shelley, still shaking, nervous, just bring it home. What a run here for this kid. Nikita Johnson. Remember that name, Nikita Johnson. This kid is going to be impressive next year in USF 2000. Already on the podium in USF. He was a challenger all weekend long in Portland. This kid could go for the title next year with VRD Racing in USF 2000. Of course, VRD swept the weekend with Alex Quinn at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course, so they have winning pedigree. Dan Mitchell looking to step up his program from USF Juniors to get that same kind of success in USF 2000. This kid could be the leader of that program. Look at the gap he has over his teammate Sam Corey. I'll tell you, Corey threw everything he could at it this weekend, had a good run. But 2 guys to celebrate coming out of the final couple of corners out of 20. Another win, 3 wins in the last 5 races. Nikita Johnson, victorious here in Texas at the Circuit of the Americas, and the first ever winner of the trivia contest, the champion of the 2022 USF Juniors Championship, is Matt Clark. Clark with the title. Johnson with the win. It's going to be Nikita Johnson, Sam Corey, and Matt Clark on the podium. Ethan Ho, a strong run to 4th. Bryson Morris in 5th. Ryan Sheehan 6th. Andre Castro 7th. Quinn Armstrong 8th from last on the grid. What a drive for Quinn Armstrong. Alessandro DeTulio comes from the tail of the field to 9th. And Giorgio Carrera rounding out the top 10. For Nikita Johnson, impressive run all around. You can't ask for much more out of that kid. What a drive for him. Sam Corey, of course, put it all on the line as well. A race win this weekend to get 2nd. But it all comes down to Matt Clark being able to score the championship. Started at the tail of the field to try to avoid all the chaos. And that pays off as he ends up winning here today. We're going to go down to the podium right now, folks. Make sure to look at all our social media. You'll see quotes. You'll see interviews. We'll wrap everything up on social media. But on behalf of everyone from Anderson Promotions, Cooper Tires, and, of course, Road to Indy TV, what a season it's been of USF Juniors competition. Shout out to the winner, Nikita Johnson. And right there, the champion of 2022, Matt Clark. Thank you so much, folks. My name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.